be seated. It is my privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you all to our annual speech day and matric farewell ceremony, a highlight of arguably the most important function on the school calendar. Over the years, the ceremony has become an emotional roller coaster as we recognize the academic success of the top students and bid farewell to the Form 6 group. Today promises to be no different. We're delighted to have such a good turnout on this occasion, which is always nostalgic and very special, particularly for the senior boys and their parents. This function reflects the achievements of the 2018 matric group, who have this year, for the most part and for most of the teaching staff, been passionate and disciplined young men. They have generally, during the course of the year, shown an admirable maturity and restraint, stretched perhaps in part yesterday and last night, but again paling in significance to what many other schools endure at year end. If you remember last year, a live squawking chicken was tossed into the staff room while most of the staff were relaxing at lunch break. True to college tradition, the chicken was wearing a second form tie. Yesterday, 2 chickens arrived, but Mr. Marwick was on hand to rescue them before they were subjected to second form status. Teaching college boys is one of the most compelling reasons why so many members of staff have very little desire to explore pastures beyond the college boundaries. I use this opportunity now to single out and welcome some of our guests. Grant Little, President of the Maritzburg College Old Boys Association, is unfortunately not with us today. In his absence, we use this occasion to record our gratitude to him for his unwavering support in all matters related to school. Our guest of honor will be introduced to you formally later. We recognize the school principals and representatives from a number of our feeder primary schools. It is important to publicly acknowledge the role that your schools play in keeping Maritzburg College afloat. We are still in the fortunate position that we have so many quality primary schools that continue sending us learners who identify strongly with our ethos and standards. We value the contribution and support we receive from the high schools that we have regular contact with. Rob Evans, Chairman of the governing body, is present. The college family appreciates not only the hours of sacrifice you have made, but also your very strong and sound leadership at the helm. We welcome retired past headmaster Keith Olivier, and we record our appreciation of your continued interest in matters related to college. It is impractical to mention by name all the people who give so freely and willingly of their time and expertise in service to our school. To all the members then of the governing body, past and present, past chairman of the governing body, Archives, Finance and Supporters Club members, Maritzburg College Old Boys Association, executive and past presidents, the foundation, the Maritzburg College Board, sponsors and the trust, a warm and sincere college welcome. The hours that you spend on this campus do not go unnoticed and are hugely appreciated. Finally, to all friends of college, past staff, invited guests, and finally the parents of the sixth form, I take this opportunity of thanking you for your unwavering support, both of your son and the school, over the last 5 years or so. I trust that you will enjoy this special college occasion.
This morning's reading comes from Ecclesiastes Chapter 3, verses 1 to 11. A time for everything. There's a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search, and a time to give up. A time to keep, and a time to throw away. A time to tear, and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What do workers gain from their toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end.
Assalamu alaikum. Today's reading comes from the Quran in Surah Al-Isra, also known as Bani Israel, verse 23-24. I think the translation should be up on the board. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا صدق الله العظيم.
Good morning to the staff, parents, and boys. The following religious readings are extracted from the Bhagavad Gita, the holy book of Hinduism. The first reading focuses on learning. Education is the process of performing one's own duties for the attainment of peace, joy, satisfaction, and salvation, and being rid of the bad qualities with steady mind and wisdom. The second reading states, "Why do you worry without cause? Whom do you fear without reason? Who can kill you? The soul is neither born, nor does it die. Whatever happened, happened for the good. Whatever is happening is for the better. And whatever will happen, will do so for the best." And finally, the power of God, no matter what God, is with you at all times, through the activities of the mind, the senses, your breathing, and your emotions, and is constantly doing all the work using you merely as an instrument. So whatever you do, dedicate it to your God. By doing this, you will feel free of life and full of joy. Through prayer, ritual, and worship, one surrenders himself to the Almighty.
May you please bow your heads as we pray. Pater noster, quaes in calis, sanctificator nomentum, ad vid and regnum tum, fiat volentes tua, sicet in cala et in terra, poda nostrum quotidianum de nobis hodie. To be to nobis, to be to nostra, sicet et nos dimittabis debiturus nostris, et ne nos induces in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo, quotim es regna, potentiae gloria in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Please would you join in the prayer for Maritzburg College. Most gracious God, your Son Jesus Christ sat among the teachers in the temple at Jerusalem, listening and asking questions, and all were amazed at his understanding. Grant to college a like spirit, that all who teach and all who learn may together grow towards that wisdom and love which come from you. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Maritzburg College, two words which mean so much to so many people out there in the world. How do two words mean so much in the hearts of young men and their fathers and their grandfathers? What gives these words so much respect and so much weight when one announces that they've been a scholar at this great institution? It's definitely not the grass or the windows or the walls. It's the men, women, and boys who walk through these doors every day that make this place what it is. How does a mere place, a location, mean so much to a young man? A year in the life of any establishment will always have its ups and downs, highs and lows, sunny days and overcast days. 2018 has been such a year which has borne good fruit, and the seeds one has planted in the years that have passed have definitely been reaped. No man ever got a good crop by just sitting around and expecting the good crop to plant themselves. Hours are put in, early mornings, late nights, and sacrifices are made to make sure only the best crops are produced. If one does not do this, the crop will fail and become just an unweeded garden. This place we treasure so much, it is nowhere near being an unweeded garden because of the men and young men who plant good seeds which bear good fruit. With every year that goes by, we question if this place is changing. We fear that the place we love so dearly might not be what we left it as when we return. It is clear that the more college changes, the more it remains the same. For something to get better and evolve, it must change, and that's exactly where college is now, better than ever. I say this with great confidence and pride. College was once largely feared for its rugby dominance alone. In 2018, we have produced numerous South African colors in codes as diverse as hockey, canoeing, shooting, and karate, to name a few. Our once rugby dominant school has found itself producing one of the finest choirs in the province. We also see our boys excelling academically and winning prizes throughout KZN. Saturday morning sees the school come alive with teachers and boys working tirelessly in the Kanyisa program to create a better future for those less fortunate. To the staff who give so freely of their time for the betterment of not only our school, but for our country, we say thank you. We arrive at college in second form as mere rascals who have no idea what respect, commitment, honesty, integrity, self-discipline, and courage mean. We question everything that is done here at college and try to rest on our own understanding and go against a system that has lasted for 155 years. Our egos clash as we fight over which primary school was better and fight over who didn't switch off the lights in D-Dorm. We question team testing and why we have to make our beds and stand to attention next to them. So why do we make our beds and make sure that they are spotless and made to perfection? Making your bed means a great chance of having a better day. Making your bed means you've achieved something before your day has even started. Even if you have a bad day, at least you know you'll have a well-made bed to sleep in that night. It means making sure the little achievements in life are taken care of, and step by step, you learn to treasure them. We fight each other about where we come from, and yet forget where we all are. That badge over our chest slowly starts to bond us to stick closer together than anything else. Those three colors start to stream into our blood, and slowly the time comes to sing All Boys of Nathan's for the last time. Time passes in a blink of an eye, and there goes our first chapter. Those days where we stood and admired men like the Leroux, the Goodsons, the Makubanis were tough, but we learned everything we needed. Those memories stick with us and remain close to our hearts. At the school, you take a Belita surfer, an Eastern farmer, a boy from Ashdown, give them a basher, give them three colors, red, black, white. Give them 5 years, and you get a college boy. Brothers, we've come a long way. Along the way, we've lost some soldiers, but certainly gained a lot more. It is not our geography or the fact that we all came from different backgrounds that make us different. But we were different because one was in Lemons, one was in Snows, the other in Fuller House. Houses, classes, backgrounds fade away. We are all college boys, bound by a badge that unites us despite these differences. The more we go through college, the more we understand the snowboard traditions and why they exist. We get to understand college more and more, and we understand why it's different from any other school. As time draws near to pack our bags and leave this place we call home, the more we realize just how much it means to us. College is not for 5 years, but for a lifetime. To my sixth form class of 2018, our time has now come to an end. In life, there's a time for everything. A time to say hello, a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to break, a time to build, a time to remember, a time to miss, a time to hate, a time to love, and right now, it's a time to say goodbye. Goodbye to everything we call love. Goodbye to standing to attention at the prefect study. Goodbye to Saturday afternoons on the mighty gallstones. Goodbye to the big hits on Satan's table. Goodbye to Papes. Goodbye to the drag flicks. Goodbye to Friday night shouting. Goodbye to the scary long walks in Clark House at midnight. Goodbye to Hudson Highway. Goodbye to the long walks to the dining room from Elliot's house. But one day, boys, we will meet again, and our hearts will be ignited by the memories we carry forever. We will have returned to our home, and our cries, laughter, and prayers will be answered. We will share stories for all to hear and reminisce on our time here together. For some of us, this may be the last time we spend with each other. This is love. One day we'll meet again and be united once more. For we do not know the plan God has for us, but I know we will reunite as one, as college boys. Right now, it is not our choice, but all good things must come to an end. Maritzburg College is no longer ours, and we hand it over to a group of young men who have the unique opportunity to be part of something great. It is my sincere hope that you, gentlemen, realize just how blessed you are. Today, for us, it is time to move on. We will embrace the future, knowing that this place we have come to know and love is not merely a school. It is a brotherhood, and that college is not just for 5 years, but college is for a lifetime. Wherever life might take you, no matter the circumstances, regardless of the outcome, standing right beside you, with his arms stretched out, will be a college boy waiting for an opportunity to pick up his fallen brother. To the staff and boys of Maritzburg College, it has been an incredible privilege to be a head boy for the year 2018. It was an absolute honor to be able to call myself this, and I'll stand proud wherever life may take me, knowing I had the privilege of wearing those three colors, red, black, white. Thank you to each and every one of you for making this year one which I'll never, ever forget in my life. Thank you for trusting me, school, to lead you. Boys, I can fully testify that you only arrive when you have left. And as we say our final goodbyes, I can confidently say, you have arrived. Just as God chose Jesus, his only son, college chooses you to be a snowball son. It takes pride in all he stands for and where he comes from. Pro Oris and focus. Thank you.
Testing.
Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. You're like a dream come true. But if by chance you're here alone, can I have a moment before I go? 'Cause I've been by myself all night long, hoping you're someone I used to know. You look like a movie, sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when you were young. Oh, let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old and midnight restless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. I was so scared to face my fears. Nobody told me that you'd be here. And I swear you moved overseas. That's what you said when you left me. You still look like a movie, you still sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Oh, let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old and made us restless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. When we were young, when we were young, when we were young, when we were young. It's hard to admit that everything just takes me back to when you were there, to when you were there. It's just like a song when we were young.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was wonderful. Mr. Neal Henriksen, our guest of honor, invited guests, staff, parents, the sixth form of 2018, boys of college returning in 2019. May I add my word of welcome to you all. Mr. Henriksen, thank you for your attendance here today as we honor the academic achievements of the class of 2018, and we look forward to your address. Mr. Henriksen will be formally introduced by our Deputy Head Boy, Jared Campbell. I wish to commence my address by mentioning the wonderful Old Boys induction ceremony held here in the Alan Payton Memorial Hall last night. It was indeed an auspicious occasion as our sixth form men were inducted into the fold of an old boy fraternity that goes back 155 years. I thank the President, Mr. Grant Little, for his very welcoming speech and acknowledging the sixth form boys in such a positive light. Head boy of 2014, Darren Goodson's pertinent message to the boys. 2018 valedictorian Deputy Head Prefect Russell Steinbank's valedictory speech, which reflected on the past 5 years and the appreciation of all that is special in the community that is college, and the members of the Old Boys Executive for their efforts in making it such a memorable event. The format of my address today is to focus only on our sixth form, so we will therefore acknowledge departing staff at our prize giving, which is the last day of term, the 23rd of November. At this point, I wish to recognize the significant contribution by the senior leaders of the school. The leadership role for the prefects is an onerous one. An inexperienced 18-year-old has to perform a balancing act between that of setting the benchmarks in all that they do, being a policeman and ensuring good order, being the custodian of college tradition, and to hold a significant pastoral responsibility amongst others. Our head prefect, Mtuku Unchunu, and his deputies, Russell Steinbank, Rhys, Jared Campbell, and Cameron Holloway, as well as the rest of the 2018 prefect group, have done sterling work and led from the front in all aspects of college life. Thank you for your commitment and endurance in seeing things through to the end. The statement, "It is not how you start the job that matters, but how you finish it," that does really reflect positively in this instance. You have finished strong. I wish also to acknowledge and thank the house leaders on the various roles that you have played within the houses. I know that the house masters have appreciated your commitment and passion. The co-curricular and additional successes of this group and the rest of the college are clearly chronicled in the headmaster's addendum for further information, and I invite you to refer to it. 2018 is a year we can all be collectively proud of, with significant number of sportsmen, academics excelling at provincial and national level, as well as a magnificent school production of Guys and Dolls, musical evenings, and cultural successes. Please join me in acknowledging our sixth formers of 2018. Today, your academic achievements are being honored here at the ceremony, a wonderful way for the school to recognize and celebrate the choices and sacrifices you have all made. But I believe that what should make you and your parents the proudest is everything you had to do to excel. However, I challenge you not to be idle, but continue to strive to be the best that you can be in your final NSC exams. These are the first steps to your future. My message today focuses on reviewing not just the impact you have had as leaders of college, but also your overall legacy for 2018. A legacy is a gift or a bequest that is handed down or conveyed from one person to another. It is something that is transmitted, inherited, or received from a predecessor. In your specific situation, you have 155 years of legacy that has been handed down to you through those who have gone before. The message is largely derived from a book I read recently by Jim Kerr entitled Legacy, What the All Blacks Can Teach Us About the Business of Life. The All Blacks represent a culture, an identity, an ethos, a belief system, and a collective passion and purpose. It is a unique, inspiring handbook for leaders in all fields and answers questions such as, how do the best in the world stay the best in the world? What are the secrets of sustained success? How do you develop ownership, leadership, and accountability? And one that's really pertinent for you, how do you leave the blazer in a better place? This is the question I'd like to focus on specifically, as I believe that it has particular relevance when reviewing 2018. Hopefully, you have all been good ancestors, as your greatest responsibility is to honor those who came before you and those who will come after in the 155th history of Maritzburg College. Your actions will echo beyond your time. True leaders are stewards of the future and take responsibility for adding to the legacy. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven in the lives of others. The Zulu word Ubuntu is pertinent at this point. Ubuntu is the essence of being human. You cannot exist as a human being in isolation. People want to be part of something larger than themselves. They want to be part of something that they are really proud of, for which they are prepared to make sacrifices. This links in with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People strive for a sense of belonging, esteem, self-respect, respect for others, recognition of talent, sense of identity and purpose. You as sixth form leaders have hopefully assisted in providing personal meaning to higher purpose, to create belief and a sense of direction for the lower formers at college through our core values, amongst other things. Core values create core purpose, and one's character decides one's value. Collective character is vital to success. If one focuses on getting the values right, the results will follow. A collection of talented individuals without personal discipline will ultimately fail. Character values triumph over talent. Organizations that maintain their core values are those that stand alone, stand apart, and stand for something. I believe that college is such an organization. Successful leaders balance pride with humility, absolute pride in performance, and total humility before the magnitude of the task. Humility does not imply a weakness, but its opposite. Leaders with humility understand its strength. It allows them to connect with their deepest values and the wider world. Leadership begins and ends with authenticity. It is about being yourself, being the person you were created to be. Leaders create leaders by passing on responsibility, creating ownership, accountability, and trust. You, as sixth form leaders in your various roles, have created a structure of meaning, a sense of purpose, belonging, teamwork, and most importantly, personal responsibility, and have instilled in the lower formers a sense of great self-worth. Inspired leaders find their deepest purpose, their why, and attract followers through shared values, vision, and beliefs. Successful leaders have demanding internal benchmarks. They set their expectations high and strive to exceed them. Exceptional results demand exceptional circumstances. Successful leaders look beyond their own field to discover new approaches, learn best practices, and push the limits. Charles Darwin, English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution, says, "It is not the strongest species who survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones responsive to change. The best performers in the world spend more hours practicing than they do performing." To be good at something takes practice, and lots of it in the desire to be the best that you can possibly be. The leaders then pass on what they have learned to their subordinates. What have you passed on to your lower former boys in your houses, mentor groups, sports teams, societies, etc.? Have you passed on the baton with confidence? Have you been good ancestors? What have you added to the legacy that is college? This chapter of your life has come to an end, and you're about to embark on a new, exciting chapter. It is about to be written in your journey towards realizing your ultimate goals. The big thing is not to be too impatient. Good things take time. You will get there. Be committed, self-disciplined, brutally honest with yourself, and do not be afraid to be courageous and make mistakes. Be a good apprentice. The most successful entrepreneurs have taken risks, and when they have been at their lowest, they have not thrown in the towel, but have believed in their dream and themselves and persevered. I wish you every success as you travel the road in pursuit of your goals. I will now conclude with a Maori maxim. From listening comes knowledge. From knowledge comes understanding. From understanding comes wisdom. And from wisdom comes well-being. God bless Pro Auris et Focus. Thank you.
Can I ask you all to stand as we belt out the college anthem?
ladies and gentlemen. Today we are indeed privileged to have CEO and founder of Koi Strategy, Mr. Henriksen. Mr. Henriksen studied at the University of Cape Town, obtaining honors in information systems. He has a passion for mentoring, and this has been the driving force behind his illustrious career as an entrepreneur. He has served as a specialist with Tux, essentially helping them to commercialize their new technologies, and has 30 years of experience in the high-tech industry. His first company, Realtek, was the first company on the internet in the country and third in the world. Mr. Henriksen is an avid music and art lover and finds joy in sharing his knowledge with the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with much interest that I introduce to you Mr. Henriksen.
Staff, parents, pupils, it's a privilege to be here. I don't think I have ever spoken to such a large audience ever. I flew in yesterday morning, and the gentleman sitting next to me in the plane, I think he must have had red, black, and white running inside his veins, because as we circled over, he said, "That's Maritzburg College there. Look at the fields, look at this, look at this." So I had the wonderful privilege just before I even landed of seeing your tremendous college. I've been yesterday sharing lessons about entrepreneurship with the boys, some of the parents, some of the teachers, and I told you about how I was inspired to become an entrepreneur by my father, who was a factory worker, came from a very poor family, lived in the Cape Flats, and when I was 13, he took a leap of faith, left the factory, became an entrepreneur, became an estate agent. He didn't sell a house for weeks. My grandmother, my mother's mother, the in-law who was living with us at the time, was a very negative old lady, and I remember sitting on the sofa chain smoking constantly and saying, "Stanley should never have left the factory. We'll all end up sleeping in the car." I don't know, because I think it's quite stressful for my father, both the pressures at work and the pressures with family back at home. But he made it work, and I had the privilege of watching during my teenage years my father transition from being a factory worker to a very successful entrepreneur. I've now actually been in this space for 40 years. I'm 59. Chris and I were actually at school together many years ago. And I started out with a small company when I began my career that battled to make any money. We spent 8 years out in the wilderness just trying to keep things afloat. Very long time out in the desert. And then from there, that company eventually succeeded. I sold that company. I moved to Knysna, which is actually my home base, although I spent most of my life in Pretoria, where I work with the CSIR and other high-tech organizations. But I moved to Knysna, I became a Christian. I got involved with youth ministry, and I've actually spent nearly 20 years doing youth ministry with teenagers in addition to my business life. I then started another high-tech company and ran that for a number of years. It was a pioneer in mobile payments, but left it to go on to do something that I wanted to do with the rest of my life instead. And that was to develop the next generation of entrepreneurs inside our country. So I work with hundreds of programs right across South Africa. I've just finished touring the Northwest, Mahikeng, Vryburg, Klerksdorp, places like that, teaching very grassroots young entrepreneurs. And then I'll be in Pretoria or Cape Town or Stellenbosch University with their entrepreneurship program, working with high-tech entrepreneurs with budgets of millions of rands doing blockchain, drones, artificial intelligence, and things like that. My responsibility in developing these young people is in guiding them into a new stage in their life. So our reading today from Ecclesiastes, that there's a time for this and a time for that, it's very relevant to what I'm going to talk to you about today. Because these young people have sometimes left rural areas and come to the city to become entrepreneurs. These young people have left school or university, sometimes dropped out of university to become entrepreneurs. They have borrowed everything and they are starting a dangerous new stage of their life. And as a mentor and as a guide and somebody who has, in Japan they say sensei, as somebody who's walked the path before you, it's my responsibility to guide them on that path. And you are all, or your sixth formers now, are leaving and going out for new adventures and onto a new path. In my work and working with people to guide them, for many years I was looking for a map that I could use to explain these stages and graphically bring it across to people. And I discovered this map eventually in the most unusual spot, in the form of a movie that every person inside this hall, I think, will have seen, and some of you, especially parents, will have seen many times. And that movie is a superb encapsulation of the stages we go through on any dangerous new journey. The movie is one of the top-selling movies of all time, and I think its universal appeal is that it was consciously built on something that is known in literature as the hero's path, the path of trials and tribulations and challenges that the hero walks to reach the end of that path, to restore the world and to make a contribution to that world and to become a leader inside that world and to serve. I want to share with you today, therefore, some life lessons from The Lion King. And for those of you who haven't seen it 40 times, Simon is now just going to quickly play the 2 or 3 minute clip, the trailer for The Lion King, and I want you, as you watch this trailer, to have a careful look at what is going on in the Lion King, the cub's life, what is going on behind him, what is going on around him. And then I'll talk through with you what we can learn from the Lion King. Thank you, son. At the beginning of every new venture in life, of every stepping out from a safe place here to start a new business, to start a new career, to university, to start a new relationship, the hero begins in the desert. We see our lion cub lying there on that hard, cracked ground. There are few resources. It is an unknown, scary environment. And you're alone. At this point in his life, Simba is effectively an orphan. And for the person starting a new adventure, they start out as well effectively as an orphan, far from their families in a new place, without any support from others. Often for many of my young entrepreneurs, their own families do not understand why they've become an entrepreneur. Why have you not been like your brother who joined the bank, who became a lawyer, who's got this successful thing going? Why are you going out with this dream, self-doubting? I remember sitting at home with my father, watching his determination, despite his family around him, his mother-in-law and everybody else saying, you had a safe job in the factory. It might not have been much, but this is a pipe dream that will destroy our family. And my father's tenacity to survive with no resources, a factory worker with very little money, business experience, or anything else, the tenacity to survive there in that desert. The next stage in the journey, we see that Simba's moved from the desert into the forest. And this is now the stage of growth and growing as he becomes a strong young lion. But if you look at what is happening around him, what is helping him to become the strong young lion? And you will see him around the role that the friends play. Put your past behind you, the mentor of the old monkey, the encouragement of the friends. And I've emphasized time and time again to entrepreneurs, mentorship, comrades, community. Chris spoke about Ubuntu. Be part of a community. We are uplifted, upheld, supported, encouraged, and nurtured by the people around us. Effectively, at this stage in the Lion King's journey, he has found his new family. His new family who understand him and will support with him and stick with him through this journey going forward. But this is not the end of the journey. He is content at this point in the jungle. He's grown to be a strong young lion, but the word comes to him, you are more than what you have become. You have not reached your full potential. You have not fulfilled your role in this world. Your role is not to be a strong young lion in the jungle. Your role is to return and become the king and the ruler of your space, is to return home, to renew your space, to bring prosperity back to Pride Rock. Maybe he'd forgotten that, but that is the other thing that the friends, the mentors, the pastors, the people around us do for us. They hold up a mirror to us and they say, this is who you are. You come from Maritzburg College, these are your values, this is your history, this is your legacy, this is who you are. Do not forget this. They remind us of what we should be doing on the journey in front of us. My father was a factory worker who struggled to establish an estate agency in the desert. He became a successful businessman in the jungle. But I only realized the full length of my father's life at his funeral. When my father died, the church was full. It was a very large church and it was full to overflowing. And although I knew my father as a successful businessman, it was only then when countless people came up to me after that service and said, your father inspired me to go out and do my own thing. Your father sat with me late at night when my business was battling and gave me advice. Your father gave me the small loan of a few £1,000 when I was that close to the edge. My father hadn't stopped with being the success. He had gone on to become a leader, a provider, a servant leader in his own community. That was the full legacy of his life. He had walked the full walk right to the end. I want to now talk about some of the dangers on this path. I work with all sorts of people in business for many decades now. Some people are going to get trapped in the desert. And this is what we call a victim mentality. I have a friend from school days who I see occasionally we cross paths. Let's call him Andre, and he's a builder. He would tell me, if I ask him how are things going, he'll say, Neal, I get up every morning very early in the morning. I pick up the workers. We drive around. He's only building 3 or 4 houses at a time because he has somewhat control issues. He likes to control everything. And he says, I drive around, I drop the workers off, and then I circulate between the houses all day, and I fix up all the screw-ups. He says, and then I drop the workers off after work, and then I go home and I spend some time with the wife and the kids. Then I sit up till late at night doing all the paperwork, all the stuff that keeps coming from the government, regulations, this, he says. You just put your head down and you shovel through it. He says, and then you get up the next day and you repeat it. He said, basically life's a bitch and then you die. Andre, incidentally, is not a believer in any spiritual greater realm. You see, this is a man who's become trapped, sadly, inside the desert. There's no escape. It will just keep repeating. There will be no movement forward, and the best that you can hope for is just to survive. Somebody said these are people who are living in a cage, and their greatest hope in life is just for a slightly more comfortable cage. That's very bleak. People have to have the courage when they're in the desert to not give up and to still see that there's a long road ahead and that you can get out of the desert and not to take up life inside the desert and say this is all that we can have. This is the best that we can do, and I must just sit here and survive. In theology, we talk about waiting room theology. I must just wait it out in this terrible desert until God takes me back to heaven. All right? This is not good enough. But now the next danger is that we reach the stage of growth and success, and we get blinded and we think that this is the entire journey. It's only about succeeding and growing. And we live in a culture today that makes this such an important thing. Grow, grow, grow. Achieve your goals. More and more and more. But if that is all that we have in life, life starts becoming very, very empty. Life becomes just about me and what I can achieve and what I can brag about and what I can do. We have to have more that we go on to the last stage of being called into something bigger. I run workshops all around South Africa, and sometimes I pose the question to people and I say, what is the point of growth? And they say, excuse me? I say, you are all being heard on television, Oprah, this, all the time, speeches, talks. You must grow. Why? And then people do an imitation of a different fish to the koi one. They do the guppy. Why must we grow? You got to grow. You got to grow. I knew that couldn't be the whole answer, and it took me a long time to understand why you have to grow. And the light bulb moment came one day when I was sitting in church listening to a sermon, and my pastor quoted a line from Scripture where he said, I can't remember the context, but the line was, to grow into full stature in community. The reason why we must grow is to become the best father to our children, the best son or daughter for our aging parents, the best business person in our company, the leader inside our church or synagogue. We must grow to reach our full potential in our community servicing. That is the point of growth. Not growth just for its own sake. It is to grow to be the best that we can be as part of a community. But because our culture around us idealizes growth and success and bling above all else, this has become something terrible that erodes our world. Now let's imagine that I have one cell inside my body that has been to some success seminars, ne? And this cell in my body decides it needs to grow. It's not content just to be an ordinary little cell inside on my hand. It wants to grow and achieve and be everything that it can. So it starts growing and growing and growing. What do we call a cell in your body that keeps on growing? We call that cancer. A cell that keeps on growing without check inside the human body is what is the definition of cancer. That cell will turn into, inside my body, will turn into a tumor, will suck up blood, resources, and will eventually kill me. The businessman who believes that success is the only measure of life will exploit his workers to make more money. He will cheat on taxes to make more money. He will pollute the surrounding environment if he's not going to get caught, because money must become ahead of everything else. Success is the ultimate goal. And like the cancerous cell, the success-driven person will destroy his family. His children will never know their father. They will never amount to anything inside his life. They will suffer through their lives because success was more important to their father than them. This will be a cancer that destroys all around them. I want to talk now just very quickly about how this plays out in the lives of young people. I work with teenagers at risk in programs for many, many years. So I find that there are two types of young people at risk. The first is the young people who are trapped in the desert. These young people often, because we live in a culture of success and success and success and not Ubuntu, these young people look at what is going on around them and their success-driven, sometimes parents and everything around them in the culture, and they say, Bob, I don't want any part of that. So these young people are my surfers come stoners, my goths who dress up in all the black makeup and the heavy outfits, etc. These are my young men who are involved in drifting, risky driving, excessive drinking. These are the girls who are involved in shoplifting, etc. These are the people who say, I reject the entire system, I want nothing to do with it. There's a legend from Arthurian times of the Fisher King. The Fisher King rules over a wasted kingdom, like we saw in The Lion King. He sits all day with a fishing rod and he just fishes in the river. He has abnegated, he has opted out of ruling his kingdom, of taking any responsibility and playing any role in his kingdom, and all he seeks to do is to find some pleasure out of just fishing. These are my young people who are taking drugs. They have opted out of the system, and the only consolation in this world is drugs, sex, risky behavior, shoplifting, thrills, whatever else this is. This is the consolation. This is how you anesthetize yourself in the fallen system. Fortunately, those young people are easy for me and for others to spot. You can see them a mile away. The goth, the this, the stoner, the resentful person. But now we get to the next stage, the young people who are trapped inside the jungle, who are trying to live by the rules of the success system around them. So these are our perfect students. This is the girl who is head of her class, most popular, everything else. This is the boy who is head of the captain of the rugby team, super high achiever and everything else, because they are desperately trying to sit into a system where they believe the only way that they can win affection, love, or any stature is to measure up to the standards of the success system. They must be the best at everything, and yet it never works. And so they hide their pain away. These are the girls who are cutting themselves where people can't see them. These are the children who are outwardly fantastic but have deep drinking problems and binge things like this. These are the children, sadly, who commit suicide, and somebody says afterwards he was a golden boy. What happened? Captain of the rugby team, this, that. What happened? This is somebody who was in deep pain but trying to measure up to a broken system. These are the children most at risk in my world. And there's another reason why they're most at risk, because they are leading a double life. Just like their parents who are outwardly successful but are also broken people, they lead a double life, and it's in a lonely life. The goth, my stoner, my surfers, they have community around them because they are open about their rejection, so they have friends who stick with them and support them. I've never ever known a kid in that category to try and commit suicide. It is the perfect children who eventually the strain and the stress cracks them, and there has to be some way out of this terrible prison that I'm trapped in. So we have the good path, and we have the path that does not lead all the way to the end, and where people get trapped halfway through the path in a broken world. The path and every step in it is only made complete by the destination and the end point. And I want to end today by taking also some words from Scripture. These are the words of the Apostle Paul, who is writing to the church in Corinth. And these words you will hear often at funerals and weddings. They were read out by Princess Diana's brother at her funeral. He said, these three things endure: faith, hope, and love. And these three words are our key words for this path. In the desert, when you go out there and nothing works, when there's no one around you, and you feel like an orphan and you feel like giving up, you must have faith that the desert is not real. It is not the ultimate reality inside our lives. It is not the end. There is something beyond the desert. Faith keeps us alive. The people without a vision will perish, is what the good book said about the Israelites in the desert. Without the vision, without the faith in things unseen that I cannot see yet. I can only see the desert, but faith in these things that I can see further out, that will endure me through the desert. As I go to the next stage, hope that I can change, that I can make things better, that I can succeed, that I can grow, that I can realize my dreams. But ultimately, if I'm doing that for myself only, I will get caught into the broken success world. This has to be because I love something in my life. I love my family. I love my friends. I love this world that God has given us. I have to be doing this for something greater than myself. I must be in love with something that will guide me and steer me and redeem and keep this path on track. As you leave here today, I hope that you will take those 3 words with you: faith, hope, and love. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I also add my word of thanks to you for joining us on this very special occasion in our school year. And I would like to ask our guest of honor to present the prizes. A gathering such as today is made possible by the efforts of a number of people, and I would especially like to thank Sue Kalmer for her meticulous organization and her calm presence, Denise Mitchell, Simon Stickles, Rob Guttridge, Heather Lawson, and Ken Hackland, as well as their staff for their assistance with today's proceedings. Our sponsors deserve a special word of commendation too, and we thank them once again for their continued support of excellence in our school. Today is indeed a wonderful celebration of success. We begin by awarding 2 trophies at the conclusion of the inter-house competition. The Cockhouse Trophy for sports-related inter-house events, as well as the Forder Cup for Champion House in 2018 Commons. I am truly fortunate to work with a very committed team of teachers, subject heads, and HODs whose expertise and interest in our boys is exceptional. I thank you all for your professionalism and for your support. To the young men of Form 6, congratulations on an excellent year, and thank you for your leadership and your loyalty to your school. You are a wonderful group, and we wish you well for your final exams and for wherever life takes you thereafter. Now, it is my privilege to call up the boys who have excelled academically. Merit certificates are awarded to the outstanding academic achievers in the form. The boys will be called in groups, so please applaud at the end of each group. Recipients of merit certificates for 2018 are Mohammad Biot, Tristan Buchan, Chad Bauer, Daniel Crowdis, Dhyryam, Govender. Neal Karl Hoffman, Tegan Maroney, Ntutugo Mponchane, Desan Naidu, Jared Peak. Matthew Reeves, William Wright, Christopher Took, Nicolas Welsh, Brett Wood, and Sabani Zuma. The subject prizes are awarded on the basis of the boys' performance in the two major exams that they have written so far this year, the mid-year and the trial examinations. The prize for business studies, Mubin Biot. The prize for computer applications technology, Yadav Maharaj. The prize for dramatic arts, Stephen Palmer. The prize for engineering, graphic and design, Matthew Marshall. The prize for isiZulu, Spekatle Dube. The prize for mathematical literacy, Jared Allen. The prize for visual arts, James Bilbra. A merit certificate and the prize for music, Sahil Bridgelal. We come now to the special prizes. And at this point, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Phelps and to Mrs. Ollie, who are with us today and who have donated special prizes to our boys for many years. Welcome. The role of Deputy Head Prefect at this school is a demanding one. These 4 young men have acquitted themselves with pride, dignity, and distinction this year. In the execution of their roles, they have brought a passion for Maritzburg College and a genuine commitment to serving the boys of their school. The Maritzburg College Old Boys Association prizes for service to the school are presented to Jared Campbell, Cameron Holloway, Russell Steinbank, and Rhys Zeely. The responsibilities associated with being head prefect of Maritzburg College are significant and very time-consuming. This young man has given total commitment to his role, and he has led by setting an outstanding example to others. His humility, integrity, loyalty, and quiet inner strength have served him well. He leaves us having rendered excellent service to the school. The Phelps Cannon Prize for service to the school, Ntutugo Mtunu. The next recipient is a young man of outstanding integrity. He encapsulates the values and the ethos that we know so well at college. As captain of the first hockey team and the second cricket 11, he has led by example in every facet of the game, and he has embodied what it means to be a college boy. He epitomizes true servant leadership and has gone way beyond the call of duty as Deputy Head Prefect, House Captain, Head of Border RCL, as well as a student representative on the governing body. In addition, he has been a valued member of the Social Awareness Task Team this year. He has been an outstanding example to all boys, and he has supported the marketing department of college by speaking publicly on many occasions. This fine young man has epitomized service above self and is indeed a most worthy recipient of the Nora Cook Trophy for altruistic service to the school. Russell Steinbank. The significant prize for good fellowship is voted for by the Form 6 boys. This year's recipient is a young man with a true college character, an exceptional individual who displays an exuberant passion and zest for life in all that he does. He has a warm and positive influence on those around him, and despite being a high achiever in so many areas, he remains humble and unassuming. A loyal friend to many, he is held in very high esteem by his peers, never having a bad word to say about anyone. The Charles Taylor Award for Good Fellowship is awarded to Jared Campbell. The next award is for the Form 6 boy who has shown the greatest improvement from Form 5 to Form 6. This young man improved in the rank order by a very commendable 109 places, and this reflects his determination and effort. The Ian McAllister Prize for Academic Progress, Wenzile Ndlovu. The joint winners of the Val Harley Trophy for Creative Writing, Matthew Abel and Joseph Clacy. A merit certificate, the subject prizes for English and History, and the Ollie Prize for History and English, Patrick Kidd. The Mike Brown 5 Pillars Award goes to a young man who fulfills the criteria of excellence in academics, leadership, service, sport, and culture. The recipient of an honors award for academics, this young man has an exemplary work ethic and a disciplined approach to his studies, which has seen him placed 11th in his grade after the recent trial examinations. As a prefect, a member of the RCL and Interact, his leadership and service have been outstanding, and he has regularly gone beyond the call of duty to serve others. A very accomplished public speaker, he has been the chairman of the Speakers Circle and he has also led the Hindu Society. As a peer tutor and a prefect with the academic portfolio, he has given freely of his time and his expertise to assist others. In addition, the recipient of this award has a large white badge for table tennis, playing for the school's first team. He is a versatile and talented young man who has given of his best in all areas of school life. A merit certificate, the prize for life orientation, and the Mike Brown 5 Pillars Award, Shirag Bikram. It is a very significant achievement to be awarded double honors. And this principled young man has managed to balance his time particularly well in achieving this. He is goal-driven and self-motivated, both qualities serving him well on the sports field and in the classroom. Representing college at first team level in both hockey and cricket, as well as serving his school in an exemplary manner as captain of the first cricket team, he is an exceptionally talented and hard-working individual who has often inspired other team members to achieve new heights. Holding an honors award for hockey, he has played in the KZN Inland under-18A team and has also represented South Africa at the under-18A level. Recently, he won the prize for the most committed player in the first Hockey 11 at Maritzburg College. As far as cricket is concerned, he was selected for the Inland under-17A cricket team, and he has been awarded a large white badge. A true representative of the school's core values, he sets high standards for himself, and his commitment and dedication is without question. In the classroom, his natural ability, positive attitude, and outstanding work ethic is clearly evident, and this, coupled with his emotional intelligence, has ensured his academic success. He has an honors award for academics and is currently placed 5th in his grade. He is truly a most deserving recipient and worthy of our congratulations. A merit certificate, the prize for life sciences, the joint prize for achievement in academics and sport, Andre Bradford. Academically, this young man has consistently been placed in the top 3 of his form, and he has an honors award for academics. He is a meticulous and focused individual with a rigorous work ethic. This, together with his natural aptitude, has ensured his considerable success. Whilst also being a committed member of the second Cricket 11, he is a leader of the peer tutors in the school, and despite his own considerable workload, he has spent time assisting those who are experiencing academic challenges. On the cultural front, he has excelled at debating since second form, and he has shown dedication and commitment to this activity. Having a Colours Award for debating, he was recently awarded the Graham Holder Trophy for Best Debater. He is a fine ambassador for Maritzburg College. A merit certificate, the prize for information technology, the Epoch and Optima Prize for AP Mathematics, the prize for achievement in academics and Culture, and the Bidvest Waltons Prize for third in form, Nishalan Govender. The next recipient has excelled academically each year, being placed consistently in the top 3 in his grade. He deserves to feel extremely proud of his achievements, and he holds an honors award for academics. A dedicated and talented young man with an impressive and disciplined work ethic, he is a worthy recipient of a merit certificate, the prize for geography, the PKF trophy for economics, and the Nedbank Proxime Assessor for second in form, Mitchell van Heerden. This young man holds an honors award for both academics and hockey, and he has represented the Inland Under-17A cricket team. He also has a large white badge for cricket, and he has served his school as the vice-captain of the first cricket 11. An exceptionally talented sportsman, he is the epitome of dedication and hard work. On the hockey field, he displays a relentless attitude for the perfect application of the game, and he has inspired those around him to accept nothing but their absolute best. He has brought honor to the school by being selected for the KZN Inland Under-18A hockey team. Academically, he shows exceptional self-discipline and focus, and he expresses himself with clarity and intelligence. He enjoys competition, and his fine qualities of diligence and determination, as well as his very considerable ability, have reaped their just rewards. He is a true custodian of what it means to be a college boy, and he is an inspiration to many. A merit certificate, prizes for Afrikaans, physical science, and mathematics, the Price Waterhouse Coopers Prize for accounting, the Joint Prize for achievement in academics and sport, the first National Bank Prize, and the Levinson Trophy for the Ducks of Maritzburg College, Cameron Holloway. Thank you.
Mr. Henriksen, on behalf of Maritzburg College, I would like to thank you for taking the time out to come and address us today. It's inspiring to see how you are making a difference in our country, and hopefully this can motivate us to go and do the same, as well as strive to fulfill up our role or purpose in this world. Please accept this gift as a small token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We're going to close proceedings with the national anthem. I ask you to stand and remain standing thereafter as the stage party and the staff leave the hall. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Boys, please sit. Ladies and gentlemen, the boys are going to stay behind and while you leave the hall. There's a few things we need to chat to them about. Thank you. Keswa, please come and see Mr. What now, please? Keswa. Right, gentlemen, just pay attention, please. Just wait. We won't keep you long. Chaps, that was a long session, eh? Well done. You can concentrate. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, thanks, sixth form. Thank you. The second to fifth form, stay behind, please. Sixth form, off you go. Thank you.